Hello, this is the Bellagio Buffet Lunch Stroke Dinner. We are at the end of lunch, the beginning of dinner. I want to show you both, and if I can't, I will add some things at the end of the video. So as you come in, you will see the salad, well, the pre-made salad section. And they're doing all these changes, and it's more confusing than anything. Anyway, you have Vietnamese vegetable rolls here. Then here for lunch you had the tuna spicy tuna cones, which are flavorful, and the vegetable rolls were actually quite tasteless today. And then you have the pre-made Caesar salad, and then you've got kale, pine nut salad, and you know, they are given in this tiny container, so just get 2 or 3, put them on a plate, and so you don't have to keep coming. I have to tell you though, before I actually continue, this is Bellagio and it's consistent. Many of you will be happy. I am beginning to be a little bit unhappy about it. Oh my god, I never thought I'd say this. In that it's not the most expensive lunch buffet or dinner buffet that you can have, for sure, which you have to take that into account. But for seafood lovers, there's very little here for lunch. There's a little bit more for dinner, but not that much. And in terms of the quality of the dishes, it's okay. If it's average or just okay, in my opinion. Nothing wowed me this time. And I just came from Aria, where I ate yesterday, and Aria had a couple of stations which were a little bit neglected, but seafood lovers would love Aria a lot more. Bear that in mind. But you can check the other video and then make up your own mind. You have to make up your own mind. So I don't know, this is another unexciting station, you know. You have run-of-the-mill, low quality, sorry guys, cheeses. This is cheddar, you know, with Gouda. There is no blue cheese, there is no real specialty cheese that perhaps we will come to buffet to have something different. The cut meat is really run-of-the-mill at best. But anyway, you have your salami. You don't have it here because that's Bellagio. 2 hours before dinner, they start changing over dishes. And brunch, I mean lunch is also brunch, which means you have some breakfast choices, and I hope I can show them to you. So nothing really outstanding, you know, nothing really outstanding. Now, a long time ago, this used to be the best. And by the way, it's very busy, unlike Aria. And so it's a little bit difficult to to stay a long time on stations and to show you the dishes, but I'll do my best. Now, these used to be the bastion of Bellagio. You would have some delicate, great dishes, but now it's all without love. None of it is made with love. You know, it's really not Bellagio anymore. It's just, it's good, but it's not great. And some of it's really average. So you have, I'll see if I can describe, I mean, at least the labeling is fine, you know. It's hard. I mean, I will probably tell you if there's something that was really worth talking about. And another thing I noticed, for example, this wild rice and seafood salad, it wasn't that good. But it finished quite a long time ago and hasn't been changed. It's just there, you know. At least the breakfast section is quite popular, and that means it's taken care of. It's serviced quite well. Scrambled eggs, eggs Benedict, pork sausages, potatoes, O'Brien potatoes. And these cheese blintz, these are nice. I had many of these today, which is not a good sign, because I shouldn't be having quote-unquote junk food rather than, you know, bacon. I mean, I've seen this at much more basic buffets, okay? Now even the breads, I remember some time ago they used to have these amazing breads. Nobody eats them anyway, they're just for show, really. But they used to be really exciting looking. Now melted butter here and Roma tomato soup. Now this, believe it or not, nobody's eating it, but actually, because you don't notice them. Actually, it's really flavorful. The tomato soup, it's really flavorful. That's the first thing that was flavorful in this section. I mean, a lot of the dishes that I've eaten today were bland, unexciting. Okay, let me show you this section here. Just don't tell me what this is because it's been like this for brunch. Now let's see what happens if for dinner there'll be something here. Here you had rare salmon, totally tasteless. Mahi, totally tasteless. Orzo is a healthier version of rice. I mean, it's really all subjective. But it used to be an Italian specialty. And it's just really average, all of it. I mean, look at these dishes. Maybe they're more traditional dishes. There you go. More traditionals rather than adventurous. Definitely there's nothing adventurous at Bellagio. Bellagio is more like tradition. But even that, look at this. Wonton soup, it's been like this for practically 2 hours. And miso soup, you don't even want to serve yourself because it looks like it's been sitting. This has been empty for an hour and a half. Nobody's asked for it. I mean, this is what you do. You just look at it. It's empty. You go somewhere else and you feel full and you don't bother asking for a refill. You have to be a specific type of person to do that. And sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm not. So yes, I wanted to show you this prime rib fried rice and choice some, but really it's been sitting there for quite some time. And the vegetable chow mein. What can I say? I had a better one at Aria. It was quite, I mean, it's tasteful. It was tasty. The chow mein was tasty. But it was okay. I've had better. Not here. Meat review. Okay, the Italian section. The Aria, for example, the Aria buffet had quite a poor Italian section. Really looked poor. But here, it looks inviting, but it's cooked badly. Like, everything is overcooked. You cannot overcook a dish and then let it sit there because it will really look like a paste by the time and tastes like a paste by the time you're actually eating it. So the ideas are good. The ideas are good. None of it was that great. It was tasty, but the texture wasn't good. The flavor was there, but the texture wasn't good. And I'm gonna have this because they just brought this out, and I'm gonna tell you about it if it's anything worth mentioning. Okay, now here you have your shrimp, you know, and here you'll have crabs, and they'll be brought for dinner. But that's it, you know, nothing really that outstanding in terms of seafood, and you don't have that for brunch anyway, just for dinner. Okay, your pizza section. It used to be better than it is now in terms of flavor and texture. It's okay. It's okay. Then here, okay, now you do not have this for brunch. This has just been open for dinner, which is very popular. It's the same as the other station over there, only they prepare it here. Now here, for brunch, they had just an hour ago, Reuben sandwiches, which were really nice. They took them away for dinner, and that was not a good idea because the beef sliders and the turkey sliders, which were also here for lunch, I tell you, the meat was not the best quality I've had at all. Some people will like it. This one, I've heard that people were very happy with this rotisserie section. I'll show it to you. Now, I tell you about the rotisserie section. It was good. Yes, I mean, it was probably the fresher of the various meat choices because the other meat choices were quite, run of the mill. Now I'll show you. It's a very popular section, so it will take a little while to show it to you all, but I'm getting there. Creole rice, spaghetti squash, nothing to shout about. Broccolini. Now the mashed potato, believe it or not, was actually very good. It was, it didn't look it, but it was very delicate. Very delicate. That's it. And these sausages, they've been here all morning, well, I mean, for lunch, brunch, and now they're going to be here for dinner too. House-made sausages with chicken or chorizo. I had them. It was a mouthful of grease. I didn't think they were that good, but I am fussy with regards to meat and fish. I mean, I don't like to have texture or flavor that reminds me of the worst possible low-grade meat. And I thought that I found that for Bellagio that was a little bit low, in my opinion. You can find that at all, say, average run-of-the-mill buffets, but Bellagio, they could do much better, and they did much better in the past, not this time. Now I'll show you the ribs. Just came out. Can you see it? Looks good, doesn't it? I mean, it smells good at least. That might be probably one of the better sections. I think meat eaters will probably like Bellagio, but it smells really good. But some of the other meat dishes that I showed you, they were not that great. They were not that great. I mean, as I said to you, the sausages on my right, they were not that great. It's just too greasy. There's too much grease within the meat, you know, too much fat within the meat. Ratatouille and creamy spinach. That's okay. It's okay. But I mean, should I say okay for Bellagio? Should I say, oh, it's okay? No. I'm supposed to be saying it's the best that you can have. I think Bellagio is now profiting, if I can use this word, from the tradition. And the tradition it had and followed was that it was traditionally good. It wasn't exciting, like, say, Bacchanal or Aria sometimes, or Studio B, but it's traditionally, you can count on it, say. But this time, very disappointed. I mean, I came from Aria, and Aria, you know, is very different. It doesn't have the traditional, well, it has some traditional dishes, but it has more adventurous stuff. But, so for example, the fish and the seafood were very, very good, but here, none of that, none of that. But anyway, you can check the Aria video yourself and make up your own mind. Though of course you cannot taste it for me. I'll show you. Okay, now I want to show you something about the dessert section. Okay, sorbets, peach and raspberry. It's been like this for years. I much prefer the beautiful gelato and ice cream dispensers. You know, the modern ones where you have really high-end gelato. Some of them look better than they actually are, but this is traditional run-of-the-mill. You actually, oh, I'll show you. Why not? Many of you will know what I'm talking about. If you're a first-timer, you don't know, especially if you're from Europe. So you push this, and that's it. It's come down. That's it. I'm having very little because it's not fair. I'm not actually having, I mean, I've had my own little bit of gelato, so. And then you enrich it with toppings. Nothing outstanding, far from it. Now this, it's the bread pudding. It's good, you know, bread pudding with at Bellagio has always been okay, you know, good. Consistently okay, consistently good, you know, from okay to good. Now, okay, wait. The sugar-free options. Okay, now I have to talk about it. The sugar-free options were good. Good. I tried the Napoleon here, which usually here, I mean, it's good. If you've been to Italy, you know what I'm talking about. That's to die for. I don't expect much at buffets, you know, buffets in general, but the non-sugar-free, of course, they're quite sweet. But the sugar-free were actually delicate. The texture was more delicate than the other options. So I really enjoy them. It was pleasantly, surprisingly good. So for those who are seeking sugar-free options, you've got 4 or 5 options here, and they're quite good. Cannoli, Napolitan. You see, this is a non-sugar-free. Quite sweet, actually, but it's not bad. I mean, it's not bad because it's a little bit Italian traditional, though of course it's not as good as the one you eat in Italy, but they try. Okay, chocolate chips cookies. This is what you put in your bag and go away. The first time I came to Vegas, I own up to the fact that my friend had a sweet tooth, and I would collect these, put them in the bag, and then gave it to him because he didn't like to come to buffets. I don't do this anymore. But I used to. Assorted donuts, white chocolate Nutella cone. The cone is Nutella made, so to speak. Dark chocolate, raspberry cone. What it means is that this is sugar chocolate, and sweet chocolate, and this is dark chocolate. Not really Nutella. Pecan tarts, cheesecake. I mean, the dessert section is good. I wouldn't say it makes me have dreams about it, but I didn't find anything that was not nice. Panna cotta. The cappuccino again was run of the mill. I was expecting some sort of tiramisu type, but it was just run of the mill. Is it worth coming here? Let me think. Of course, you're gonna be able to come here for free, right? With My Vegas. So of course it's worth it. If you have to pay for it, Bellagio is not the most expensive lunch or dinner buffet, so that's something to be taken into consideration. Is it really that great? Not anymore. Is it one of the best 10? Definitely. The best 10 buffets in Vegas? Definitely. But I don't think that today really did any. I found that quality control was not here. It wasn't here. And I found this, and it's just so sad because I don't know. Have they given up? I don't know what's happening. Or maybe, because this is the other thing that's happened. I noticed a difference between low traffic times and high traffic times. This is supposedly a low traffic time. And I mean, even at MGM Grand, when it's a midweek and low traffic time, then it's run of the mill, sometimes better than average for sure. And on the other hand, when it's really a peak time, then they bring out the best dishes, and it feels and tastes like the better chefs are here, exercising better quality control, which today I don't have any evidence to support this, but it's what I tasted like. In my opinion, from the flavors and the texture of the dishes were very average, run of the mill, nothing to scream about, and certainly not a special trip if you have, say, coupons for other buffets and you don't have coupons for this one. Okay, now how do you get coupons? We have a section on that on top-buffet.com. If you are viewing this video from our own website, then you just type it on the search box and you can find it. And the page will open up, a list of pages that talk about that subject will open up. Now, oh my God, they finally brought something new, which is not something new, but something fresh. There you go. Your barbecue pork buns. They have been sitting there for 2 hours empty. Miso soup, finally, it's come back now. I don't know, it's just water here. Where are the wonton? There's no wonton, look. Really, I mean, that's just, you cannot have this, not at a Bellagio buffet. This is what you have at a buffet that costs you $15 tops to get in. I mean, really, you can go to cheaper buffets, but even if it's not about price, it has to be about reputation. And when you come to Bellagio, you want the best. And I didn't find it today. I mean, it's still good, don't get me wrong. You will still like it, but you won't say, my God, this buffet is marvelous. If you compare it to some other top Vegas buffets. If you are comparing it with your hometown buffets, then of course you will love it. If you're comparing it with your hometown restaurants, maybe you will still love it. If you compare it with anything that you can find in Europe in terms of buffets, of course you will love it here, because value is just so much more, the value. But if you compare with other Vegas buffets that are really good, then no. And I'm going to go to the so-called best ones on this trip, and I'm going to check the number one again. I'm going to check Win, and I'm going to post all these videos because I like to be really up to date. And again, I mean, you can even look at them. I mean, the sushi section is really quite nothing to shout about. Now here you have now two different slowly prepared. That's the one thing I don't like about Bellagio, is it takes forever to prepare something. And I think it's supposed to be this way. I'm not blaming any individual. I think it's the way it's laid out. You have one person or two people maximum. It takes forever and ever. So that, and finally they're putting these salads out so that you can help yourself, which used to be the case, but now this time I found that I had to ask, and it was bothersome. Now I see some smoked salmon, not smoked salmon over there. What they do usually for dinner, they have pieces of raw fish, and they are presented as a delicacy, and it's Japanese cuisine delicacy. I don't find them yet, I don't see them yet, so I'll let you know when they come out. But really, if I were to choose between the two, I would go back and eat at Aria. I really would, because the seafood section for lunch, let alone dinner, was so much better, and the meat was good enough, so. And not that there is an outstanding meat section here, it's just what you expect in most meat sections of most buffets. There is nothing that's coming out here yet, I'm afraid. I can see barely what's coming. No, I think it's still the same. It takes them forever. And so if you come here for lunch hoping to stay for dinner, yes, of course you're going to save money. But remember that it's going to take them forever to bring out the dinner dishes. There's not a huge difference anyway, to be honest, but it takes them quite a long time. Okay guys, so I haven't put you off, I hope not. It's still great, and you can get coupons to eat for free. And for a free buffet, this is absolutely magical, isn't it? And this is but it really depends on what you like most, because each buffet will have a particular specialty. And I'm going to talk about this because you guys have asked me to talk about the specialties. Bellagio is a run-of-the-mill average with some meat specialties. They used to have free range, but now they don't seem to have them anymore. Free range meat, that would be a specialty, right? But there's a lot for meat eaters. Seafood eaters, I wouldn't come here. And I wouldn't even come here if you like Japanese cuisine, because there's better out there, everything really outstanding. Also, another thing to take into consideration is that it's actually a small buffet. It's small in terms of area, and because of it, you are actually really pushing each other and can be quite uncomfortable. This is the main dining area, and you can also sit at the bar if it's just you or two of you. It's not bad, it's comfortable, that's for sure. Very comfortable. This is the salad section. I don't know if I showed it to you earlier properly, but olive oil and balsamic vinegars. Look, this doesn't look like olive oil to me. It's certainly not extra virgin, but I know that most of you will not particularly care about this. You've got your make yourself salads, That's okay. At least the options are here. In terms of toppings, Bellagio has disappointed for quite some time now with regards to toppings. They're really run-of-the-mill, and most of them are. I haven't really seen really good salad toppings in most buffets, with the exception of a couple. I guess Studio B is probably way better with regards to salads, but Studio B is probably the best in everything, really. But I will double check again, because this was 3 months ago. I'm going to check again. And this is it. I mean, at least they have Kalamata olives, which are nice, rather than the cheaper version of olives. But really nothing extra, nothing outstanding, maybe with the exception of the meat. But the sausages weren't that great, in my opinion, too fat. And I don't know. I mean, it's still going to make the top 10 buffets in Vegas. Sorry, guys. But in terms of how much this is, and hours and prices of this and other buffets, check us out on top-buffet.com. We have the prices and hours at the bottom of each review. And you can ask me any questions, but please do that via the website, top-buffet. I promise I will reply to any questions. I'll reply any questions that you ask me via the websites, the comments page there. Okay, I'm going to say something positive. Although it looks very unexciting, the fruit section is actually good. The watermelon was good, very ripe, but it wasn't too ripe. And what I liked actually, also there's very little left, is this yogurt fruit salad. Because, first of all, for example, I like pineapple, but I don't like to, you can cut it yourself, it's fine, but sometimes they use hard pieces and they're very, very raw and unripened. They're nothing, they're really dry and hard. It's a struggle and they're not very good to eat. On the other hand, here, the pineapple pieces were very, very ripe, but not too ripe. They were mature but not too ripe, and they were very tasty, good texture, and I like the yogurt sauce that went with it. So something positive. And I was in the way, so I had to stop, but something positive to say. But all in all, as I say, I wouldn't necessarily, it's one of the top 10 for sure. Vegas buffets, but it's not a top 3. I don't know if it's going to be a top 5, but you have to check our top 5 Vegas buffets page, and I'm not just because I want you to go there, but also because I will then, at the end of my visit, I check everything and then I compare all the buffets and then I make my list, because once you've eaten at all of them at the same time roughly, you can have a better idea of which one is better. I want to show you something that's just come out for dinner. In addition to the usual seafood section, you have and then you've got your crab that has just come out for dinner, your doner claws, and your regular crab legs. So there's your snow crab like this. So they come for dinner. So I don't know, and they come out for dinner, and of course you expect seafood at dinner buffets, and they all have seafood. Most of them, unless you really go for the really cheap ones, less than $10. But you might still find a little bit of a few crab legs there. So the main differences between lunch and dinner are the crab legs, okay? Crab legs, that's it. Because, as I said, this is the other section where you have crab legs. So as I said, for lunch you only have the shrimp, okay? So that's the main difference, and there's a difference in price between lunch and dinner is that you have the crab legs with a couple of other additional dishes that substitute the breakfast choices, because for lunch you also have the breakfast choices served. And I mean, it's dinner, but look, they still have some breakfast options here. It takes them forever to change. You see, like here they had scrambled eggs, but now they have this seared salmon. But these are practically breakfast choices, and they're still sitting here. They may change them later on. It takes them forever to change. Macaroni and cheese, which was not here for lunch, and polenta, which was not here for lunch. And for dinner, of course, the crab leg section will have lineups, unless you are in a buffet where they have it regularly. Like, for example, Aria. There were no real lineups. There weren't that many people to begin with, but they had been there from the outset, so there was no rush to go for the crab legs, you know. So for that reason, I would say Aria is better. But check us out on the list, on the chart of which best buffets are really the best Vegas buffets, and we also have a price chart. So I hope this has been of use. I'm a little bit, like my voice, I'm a little bit demure, is that the right word? Because I just have been disappointed a little bit. It's been the same for years, but more or less the same dishes for years, which is a little boring. But I didn't like the lack of quality control. for which you would expect at such a supposedly high-end resort like Bellagio. So you see the wonton soup hours later is still this. I mean, you can't have that. You have to have people checking that everything is perfect. You have to, unless you don't care. And maybe that's the case, because so far it seems to benefit from the reputation, you know. Which what happens is that then in a year's time there'll be fewer people, and then they'll scratch their heads saying, oh, why, what's happened? And it's because a year before things just stopped being exciting, which is really what I would say. Oh yes, I want to show you something else that's different for dinner. Your crawfish that's brought out for dinner, and it's not here for lunch. So what can I say about Bellagio? Not that exciting. That's what I'm going to say on my title. Or maybe you can suggest a good title after this, because I welcome your opinion. Okay guys, bye-bye. See you on top-buffet.com. Another little addendum, guys. I want to show you another difference between lunch and dinner. They bring them out really late. So it's this salmon roulette tart, which used to be a bastion of Bellagio years ago, and it's become less gourmet every year, but it's still here for dinner, which is good. Sorry, marinated tofu, this was here for lunch as well, but the green lip mussels were not here for lunch. And then I already showed you that section that was not here for lunch, but it's here for dinner. Okay guys, with that little picture, I am going to say bye-bye for now. Hope this has been of use. And I'll see you on top-buffet.com. Bye-bye.